Welcome to Chapter 4, Functions. This is possibly A function is like a machine. You put inputs in, it does some work, and sends outputs back out. Think of the print function you've been using all along. You give it a value, and it displays it. Why should you use functions? Reusability: write the code once, call it 100 times. Organization: break a big problem into small, manageable pieces. Easier debugging: if something goes wrong, you know exactly which function to fix. And collaboration: you can share functions with your teammates without them needing to understand how it works internally. You define a function using the def keyword, give it a name, list any parameters in brackets, add a colon, then write the body indented below. Parameters are the variables listed in the function definition. They receive the values passed in. When you call a function and pass values, those values are called arguments. Parameters can have default values, making them optional. If you don't pass a value for an optional parameter, it uses the default. The return statement sends a value back to the caller. You can return multiple values at once. Python packs them into a tuple automatically, and you can unpack them with multiple assignment. You can also call functions using keyword arguments, which lets you pass arguments in any order by explicitly naming them. Watch how our two functions work together. The greet function takes a required name parameter and an optional greeting with a default of hello. When we call it with just a name, it uses hello. When we pass a greeting too, it uses that instead. The calculate tax function shows a common real-world pattern. It takes an amount and an optional rate defaulting to 18%. Notice how clean the calls are. The function name clearly describes what it does, and the parameters make it flexible for different use cases. Scope refers to where a variable is visible and accessible in your code. Variables created inside a function are called local variables. They only exist while the function is running and are destroyed when it returns. Variables created outside functions are global. They're accessible from anywhere in the file. If you have a local variable with the same name as a global, the local one takes priority inside the function. This is called variable shadowing. If you genuinely need to modify a global variable from inside a function, use the global keyword before the variable name, but use this sparingly, as it can make code harder to understand. Lambda functions are small, anonymous functions written in a single expression. You write the keyword lambda, then the parameter names, then a colon, then the expression to return. For example, lambda x colon x squared. This is equivalent to a regular function that takes x and returns x squared. Lambdas are most useful when you need a small function just once, particularly as an argument to another function. Python's built-in map function applies a function to every item in a list. Filter keeps only items where the function returns true. And sorted accepts a key parameter, a function that determines how to sort each item. These are called higher-order functions because they take other functions as arguments. Let's put everything together in a real-world grade calculator program. The get_grade function takes an average and returns a letter grade using if-else. The student_report function calls get_grade, then prints a complete formatted report. Notice how each function does exactly one thing. Get_grade only calculates the grade, student_report only prints the report. This is called the single responsibility principle, and it makes your code much easier to test and maintain. When you call student_report with Alice's scores, it automatically chains the two functions together to produce a clean, readable output. In this code demo, you can see the full grade calculator running. The functions are defined at the top: def get_grade and def student_report. Notice the docstrings in triple quotes. Always add these to explain what your function does. When we call student_report with Alice's 5 scores, Python runs through the entire chain. It calculates the average, passes it to get_grade, gets back a B, and then prints the complete formatted report. This is the power of functions, complex behavior expressed in simple, readable code. Congratulations on completing Chapter 4 and the entire Python Basics series. Here's your final recap on functions. The def keyword defines a function. The return statement sends values back. Parameters can be required or optional with default values. Local variables live inside functions, global variables live outside. Lambda creates anonymous one-liner functions. Higher-order functions like map, filter, and sorted accept functions as arguments. Always add docstrings to explain what your functions do. You've now mastered the 4 pillars of Python: variables, operators, loops, and functions. You have everything you need to start building real Python programs. Keep coding, keep experimenting, and I'll see you in the next series. Happy coding!